I am resident of Colin Creek, Joel Sains, that is my buddy Patrick McCray, that is my buddy Alan Gallant. We're here to do Star Wars Attack of the Clones, episode 2, directed by George Lucas, screenplay by George Lucas and Jonathan Hales, story by George Lucas, produced by Rick McCollum, uh, starring Ian McGregor, Natalie Portman, Hayden Christensen is here, Ian McDermott, Samuel Jackson, Christopher Lee, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, Frank Goss. Cinematographer is David Tattersall. Per, music by John Williams. Release date May 12th, 2002, Tribeca. May 16th, 2002, United States. The budget was $115 million. Box office was $6 billion, 530.8 million dollars. So lots of money. But when did you guys first see this movie, Patrick?
Oh, God, I feel like I've been called before the principal.
Patrick.
And the principal is good storytelling, and I still haven't. I'm your one man Statler and Waldorf.
Waka waka.
No, I saw this. I guess maybe opening weekend, opening day, or something. I think the Phantom Menace was the last Star Wars movie I kind of was there for opening night. No, I was there for Rogue One. I was there for Rogue One, which has lacked that Phantom Menace magic.
Hmm.
But it muddled along anyway. Yeah, it's an opening weekend or something at some point.
Cool. Alan?
Year or two in. Again, these three movies I did not see first run. I waited for them to come on to whatever service.
Now, was your attitude the same with the sequel trilogy?
The sequel trilogy? No, you mean like Rogue One
No, that was its own separate thing. This
oh,
was
okay. You mean
the Force wakes up and
oh yeah, no, I actually saw those in the theater. Yep.
yeah.
I went back for those because the old heads were back in them again. I think that's probably the reason I went back. So, yeah. So I would say a couple of years in on all three of these movies.
Interesting. What'd you guys think of the plot of this one, Patrick?
It was better. It was better. Yeah, it was a nice mystery. Um, which I enjoyed seeing the Jedi have something more interesting to do than to sit around and drink tea. That was a pleasure. And I mean that, and because I felt like I was finally seeing, the regular these guys at work.
Yeah, I think Anakin, despite being very conflicted and not exactly the most disciplined of Jedi, gets to be a hero in this movie.
He does, and it's really the only one that we see him as an adult being a hero before he just turns into a jerk.
Yeah.
Who to save I've had nightmares about my children dying, thus I shall kill children.
Also, like the fact that Padme got to get into the action a little bit this time instead of sit around pontificating about things.
Yeah. She had a lot more to do, and
Yeah.
they allowed. I really have to ask what on earth his direction of actors was. It was never that good, according to Harrison Ford and
Yeah.
Alec Guinness. They just were completely baffled at what was not going on the set in terms of working with actors. Harrison Ford famously saying, "George, you can write this shit, but you sure can't say it."
Right. I think that's the point with Lucas is he he started as a writer and then a producer and all that stuff, and directing was kind of an afterthought.
Yeah. But it was. I mean, look at those fantastically expressive performances in THX 1138.
Yeah.
So, yeah, clearly he's either letting them do more, letting them follow their instincts, or he's just not getting in the way of it, or his direction of the actors has changed.
Well, and maybe improved after the first film. I'd like to think that he had some improvement anyway.
Sure. I mean, you have to. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the guy hadn't directed a movie since '76.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
25 years.
yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, it's a better movie. The actors are having more fun. Still, the sort of minor sad part in this is that George managed to take one of the most interesting and expressive actors in all of Hollywood, Samuel L. Jackson, and
Kind of not do that much with him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
He
that's
just probably ran around the set going, whatever you do, don't say MFer. Okay, just don't do that.
it's all I would have said had I been
Yes,
Samuel L.
actually,
Jackson.
would
No,
have
but
given it the elan of Jedi.
but I think if Jackson had been allowed to have more fun, maybe rewrite his dialogue or something. That's
Something.
the thing. That's the thing Woody Allen does. Um, is besides do a heck of a Joss Whedon impression. Uh, yeah.
Or is it the
Um,
other way around? It's Josh Whedon
yeah.
doing that with
Yeah.
Woody Allen.
Is that Woody Allen's famous for A, directing a movie that got Best Picture over Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
and B, uh, uh, letting actors change any of his dialogue that they want. He says, "You can come up with something better to say in this moment. Say it." What a lack of ego.
Yeah,
What
in terms of being the guy that oftentimes has written the
he's
screenplay,
always written it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, in terms of plot and so on, it's better. I still don't quite understand everything that's going on, but basically
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm supposed to know.
Yeah, the thread's a little thicker and less likely to fray in places where it has been doing so,
Sure that
or
you know
not existing at all.
the
So
emperor created a false war,
yes,
which I think's interesting, so that he can install these clones, and yeah, yeah.
and that plot, and at least that skullduggery, that political skullduggery turns to action in the
It
film.
does. It
Yeah,
does. Yeah, yeah. So we've got a thing going on. I think Alan used it as more of a sense of humor, and there he is.
there is. Yeah.
I is this the this. However, there is a moment of real clunkiness that I think needs to be addressed. That's the elevator scene at the beginning of the movie, right? Where Anakin and Twinkle Toes are headed up, and well, it's not like the time that you did this. Oh yes, and then there's the time you did that,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh yeah, okay. Or you could just come up with an adventure that showed us
Yeah.
what happened. Almost like a Bond movie. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But it's not a Bond movie, so it's okay. This was the first feature film shot entirely digitally. Yeah.
And somehow I think they actually saved money doing it that way. So even though digital was expensive back then, I think that it would have been outrageously expensive to have like 6 giant sound stages.
Just because the film stock.
Yeah.
And it was easier
Yeah.
to do digital compositing, as you were saying, the six
Yeah.
stages.
Yeah.
And now that's all the norm.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah. And I think it needed to be because of the overlay and the compositing of all the special effects and all of that sort of stuff.
So I think if the movie has any real historical, value, it's not quite in what you would think, but it's profound.
Yes, technically it is. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Hayden Christensen's an interesting actor.
I think he does better when he's really connected to somebody rather than in his anger.
Yes.
He does much better when he's connected to somebody.
Oh, I've seen him in other things, and he's always impressed me.
Yes. In this, he's given so many little scenes where he kind of snaps in his anger and all this sort of thing, and that I don't know if maybe he wasn't buying into the whole of what his total history was and why he goes off, or what was going on, or if Lucas was feeding him full of BS or whatever on those moments.
Well, you have this. You have this. I think it's in the previous one, although it may be in this one. The whole anger turns to hate, and hate turns
Mm-hmm.
to cheese, or what you know.
The dark side of
Yeah,
cheese. Yes.
it's one of those. It's one of those Jediisms that makes no sense
Mm-hmm.
because, like, okay, wait. So if Churchill hated the Nazis, he became a Nazi? No, Simon
No.
Wiesenthal becomes a Nazi.
This is about competing cults, folks.
It is about competing cults,
Yes.
and when you look at it that way, it's a much more interesting movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, it's also about Anakin Skywalker being competing himself. I mean, you're always a product of your environment, right?
Yeah.
But what was his environment? He grew up
Kenner factory.
as a slave, pod racing, competing. He always felt he was better than the people he was racing
Yes,
against.
it's very
And
big slice of arrogance.
that continues here. He feels he's better than Obi-Wan. He feels he's a better Jedi than
Yeah.
Obi-Wan.
And in fact, he has more innate talent than Obi-Wan, but he's not a complete Jedi.
Yeah, he feels he should be farther along.
Yeah.
Already in this movie, which he's going to feel twice as much as that. You get his mother dying. He always wanted to save his mother, even as a
Yeah.
little boy. He wanted her to not be a slave.
Well, see, as an actor, I would also postulate that he should have some resentment because his big chance comes, and it means he's separating from his mother and his his father, and basically they're kind of his whole life outside of racing, and that just. And then having the whole thing where, well, I'm not going fast enough. What's going on here? That's a resentment, it has to be focused somewhere, and that might have made the anger make a little bit more sense in places where it didn't make quite as much connectedness. But yes, this is about Anakin's journey as much as anything else. This movie, you're setting it up for him to not be able to control his anger for the side of light, and indulging in the dark side, which he does for the first time actively when he kills that whole camp.
Yeah,
and it kills everybody in the camp, not just the ones that were crapping on his mother.
Yeah. He shows that he has a dark side to him in this movie.
And this is, of course, Palpatine is, I like that.
Yeah, he's twisting the knife here in this movie a bit. He's going to twist it a lot harder in the next movie too.
Yep.
So, I mean, you know, Palpatine's your Sith Lord. Sort of.
He's my kind of guy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Ian McDermott, great actor. A lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, he knows how to do that duplicitousness very well. And even though the audience knows that he's evil, to have him craft that sort of other side of himself and go back and forth between, oh, I'm a politician, and then into I am the master, and that kind of stuff is still fun to watch.
So I like the little joke that George Lucas was as a working title, what he did here. So as an inside joke, the film's working title was Jar Jar's Great Adventure, our sarcastic reference for the negative fan response to the episode 1 character.
Yes.
In writing The Empire Strikes Back, Lucas initially decided that Lando Calrissian was a clone and came from the planet of clones, which caused the Clone Wars mentioned by Obi-Wan in A New Hope. He later came up with an alternate concept of an army of clone shock troopers from a remote planet, which were used by the Republic as an army in the war that followed. So there you go.
Yeah,
that's interesting. What you see in this movie, you see the clone army being built. It's sort of being set up. These are your stormtroopers, shock troopers, whatever you want to call them.
And they're going to end up being sort of a template for the Empire army. eventually.
Yeah, they're a grand army. There's a
Yeah.
lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot more of them than there are droids, which you have. So there's sort of a new Sith apprentice, Sith Lord, whatever you call him, which is Count Dooku, Christopher Lee's character.
Mhm.
What you guys? They do spend a lot of time in this movie making up for lost time, not mentioning the character in the previous movie by mentioning him in this movie and really looking into him. What did you guys think of Count Dooku as a character?
Well, there's the gravitas you're looking for in the dark side of the Force. I mean, additional gravitas, I should say. Obviously, Palpatine is certainly has gravitas, but this guy, he's playing both sides, trying to manipulate as well. But he makes no bones about whose side he's on when it comes down to it. He's not trying to play the politician necessarily.
No, he's in fact not a politician. Really, in
No,
fact, he tells Obi-Wan, "What if I were to tell you a Sith Lord is in control of the Senate?" So he's sort of playing both sides a little
a
bit.
bit. Yeah, a
Yeah,
bit until brass tack. It comes down to it, and when it comes down to nuts and bolts, it's like surrender or die.
yeah.
So
um, Patrick, what did you think of Count Dooku here in the movie?
It was really refreshing. I wish he had gotten more to do, and Christopher Lee. There's no such thing as too much Christopher Lee.
no.
And I would have liked to have had him, as more of a presence in the movie from the get-go, so that he seems like a real partner in fixing this until the big, screw.
Reveal, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But sure, this was a real treat from Lucas, and I think it was wonderfully congruent with Peter Cushing. That both of them were in it, and
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Lee had a wonderfully prominent placement in the closing credits, and that made me happy. And I can't tell you much of what Lee did. Like, oh, that great Christopher Lee moment. And no, but he serves the plot. No one has that great Christopher Lee moment. They're all, they're. This is a very workmanlike movie on behalf of the cast. They're
Mm-hmm.
showing, they're clocking in, they're telling their story, they're clocking out and going home, and that's okay. That's okay because this is a very unpretentious movie.
Yeah, it does have a good deal more focus than the previous movie in that terms, and part of that is the workman. Everybody is on the same page, working that way and punching in and out.
Yeah, yeah, and, it's got a good chunky, action adventure sequence, and in the towards the end. And the nice thing about that is that there's very little spaceshipism. There's some, Count Dooku's riding around on his little motorcycle, which looks silly. To see a man Christopher Lee's age on that thing, it just does
Mhm.
look kind of undignified.
Yeah,
But
yeah. He should always have a full size vehicle with somebody else driving him around and so
or
on.
it should have been a rascal. Remember those
Yes.
motorized wheelchairs?
Yes.
But with like a little horn.
And
You'll never catch me in my souped up rascal. You can see it now, except his battery runs out of juice.
I'm a rascal.
Yeah.
yeah, what's some of you guys' favorite scenes in the movie?
I actually really liked and was more invested in that sort of arena battle scene than in some of the other battles, even though it's not a space battle, and I like space battles a lot. But that was sort of, and it was interesting to see, weird and interesting at the same time, to see Yoda as like the commandant of the forces. Basically he's ordering his lieutenants around, telling them to do all this stuff.
I would say that for me was really satisfying.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you, Patrick. Some of your
What about
favorite scenes?
what about you? Well, I just said,
Oh, okay.
yeah, all that stuff. What about you?
Yeah, Yoda gets into action here, which is nice to see. You see Yoda fight Count Dooku. Uh,
I love it
see,
when he tosses his cane away and goes at him like a house
hmm
of fire. It's
hmm
just like it's great.
um, Anakin losing his hand, sort of the way Luke lost his hand. A sign of things to come for
Yes.
Anakin.
Yeah.
They further along of Padme and Anakin's relationship here in this movie because they spend a lot of time together. He's her bodyguard
Is
after
this the
her.
rough like sand movie?
Hmm?
Is this where he has the dialogue about? But you're smooth. All I know is sand, which is rough. But you're smooth,
Yeah,
like parquet.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Some of my favorite scenes in this really is the intro, the interaction between Dooku and Obi-Wan. Because he tells him, your master would have joined me if he would have lived, which I actually agree with Dooku. I think Qui-Gon may have been more open-minded to it. He may not have been a Sith, but I think he sensed tension in the Jedi Order long before Dooku ever leave. So that's my thing. Scale 1 to 10, what do you guys give the movie?
I'll give this one a 9.
Yeah, I,
It's a
I
nice
did put
bounce
it at
back.
8 or 9. Yeah,
Cool.
Nice bounce back.
yeah. It's a tremendous improvement. This was a movie that when it came out, I recommended to people. People who hated Phantom Menace. I found myself, Julie, you'd be very proud of me. I found myself in a position often. I was like, no. They're really doing a good job with the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I give this 1 to 10. It's really good. I love the city scenes we get, them racing after the assassins.
Hmm.
I felt that was really good
Jewel of the
stuff.
prequels, which do you think is the best? Which do you like the most?
Ooh, rough. Because see, I like all three of these movies. I don't have nothing really negative to say too much. Um, for as much as they did with it, considering it, because they give us a lot here. They give us some in the previous movie, a lot here. For everything we get in the final, I would say Revenge of the Sith.
How would you have felt if Jake Lloyd had played Anakin in all three movies?
I don't think he'd have been old enough to do so.
That would have been the great part.
Yeah. Well, even Hayden Christensen got some shit for playing Anakin. I mean, so he
Well,
should.
I mean, your expectations are pretty high.
Yeah.
You're having to
Not
step in
really.
James Earl Jones's shoes, and those are big shoes. Because I'm tell you,
Well,
uh,
I think a
They
lot
kind of
of.
treated him the way that they, I'd say the only worst treatment that a young actor got was the woman that played Rose in the newer films. It,
that poor Kelly Tran.
yeah, she got
Fine.
for everything and racism
That's
and
a thing.
misogyny, and she got all this really bad. She shut down all of her social
Yeah,
media.
yeah. Her character was responsible for, I think, one of the most infuriatingly stupid moments in the sequel trilogy, which is where she tries to stop, if I recall correctly, she tries to stop the only former Imperial employee from targeting himself to do something very specific, which is fly
Right.
into the engine of that thing and
Yeah.
take it out. And because it was a Flynn, was it Flynn?
Yeah. It's fun.
Because Flynn had no reason to want to kill himself. He had nothing
No.
for which he was atoning. So if that guy's gonna fly his ship in there, we will defeat them with love. It's like no. So
No, but that's the script, and her character's essence is much better than that.
her character's essence is, and I don't like that moment from the character. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
but I enjoy everything else that character does.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that her treatment by the red pill community was
she got
inexcusable.
They did everything to her. They misogyny, race, fat shaming. They did everything they could possibly think of.
Yeah, the fat shaming confused me. She didn't seem fat at all.
She's not. She's just kind of round. She's not obese.
Yeah,
she has a thicker physicality. That's all.
So that was that. Yeah. You really zeroed in on, I think, one of the most shameful moments of
in fandom.
Yeah, fandom. Those people who love it so much that they hate it, kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they think their possession gives them the right to do stuff like that. That they possess it.
Yes, and that's and they're very disciplined with what they give her to do in the next one.
Mm-hmm.
She really has very definite has to paint inside. But that last film apparently was just a mess to make. It was really, just the screenplay was held together with dental floss.
And of course, they'd lost Carrie at that point.
Very twisted. Yeah.
So I think that probably threw things into chaos as well.
Yeah. And to me, the solution to that would have been somehow figure out more for Billie Lourd to do. Because I remember seeing her in those second two movies, and I didn't recognize her from American Horror Story for whatever reason, and I just thought, this is one of the most extraordinarily watchable actresses I've ever seen. Why isn't she doing more in this film?
Yeah,
I just don't think they knew what they had in her.
No, that was I think the timing there was different, and hindsight is definitely 2020.
Yeah,
on her. Yeah. They didn't know how bankable she was going to be.
It's true. Yeah, but I mean, she's one of those. I wish she did more. I wish she did. Wasn't sort of trapped by Ron into just doing that show, because wow, what a presence.
Yeah.
Not since Olive Thomas,
Yeah. What the sequel trilogies really missed? George Lucas.
Well, you're right. You're absolutely right. And what an interesting story if you were just do the biography of Star Wars as a franchise.
Mm-hmm. See, I always thought that he should have written novels for these three movies first, because then he would have had time to go back and look at the flow of it, because that's how the first movie happened.
Yeah, I mean, occasionally you get someone who is really good at this. I forget the name of the guy who makes Rogue One and Andor and all of that, but that guy knows what he's doing. And then John Favreau, really, really, really knows what he's doing. And you look at The Mandalorian, and that's just perfect. What a wonderful slice of Star Wars. I remember, I saw that, I think, the night before I saw the Rise of Skywalker. And I think that influenced my enjoyment of the Rise of Skywalker, because I really felt like I was given the Star Wars universe in its kind of ultimate form. It's like, wow, it's really living up to its potential here.
Right.
And Favreau, and I guess Filoni, was that the guy, really made it look so simple. But obviously it's not.
No. That's the whole thing is, and also up until the last 10 years, nobody had taken the Star Wars universe and said, look at all these little pockets that we could expand on. Yes. Look at this, look at this, and then actually do it well. And The Mandalorian is the primary example of that.
Sure. I mean, the Droids cartoon started to get there.
Yeah.
I never saw the Droids cartoon. I saw images from it.
I don't like cartoon adaptations that much anyway. I wasn't much on the Star Trek one either. So
I like the Star Trek one.
A couple of the episodes are really good, but the rest of it, you kept seeing the same. You kept seeing the same storyboard, like you do. Well,
that was Filmation. Okay, Bill, I got a question for you: A-wing or B-wing?
But
what?
A wing
No.
or B wing?
Yeah. For a cool ship.
Oh, I kind of like the A wings because you can't tell who's in them.
I love
They,
the
they,
A-wing.
they look sort of like something from, it can be either from the Empire or from the Resistance. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like,
It's a good solid build. It's like, yeah,
yeah.
that's a spaceship.
And the wings go up like this.
Oh, no, you're thinking of the B Wing.
Oh, is that the B wing?
That's the B Wing. Yeah, the
Okay.
A Wing is that wedge.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was always an A Wing guy.
Yeah.
I was a Y Wing guy. Y Wing versus X Wing. Y Wing.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, X Wing, of course, was the cool one early, but I still kind of like the B Wing because of that way it folds up like a Corsair. That kind of impressed me the first time I saw one of those.
Well, in zero gravity, it's vital to keep your horizon the same. What was it? What was the horizon based on in that? When ship turns. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, that's I'll say it again. Really, really, really worth. And Jewel, I think this is something you would very much dig. The celestial mechanics of how the all the ships work in Babylon 5 is incredibly scientifically accurate, and it makes them exciting in a way we've never seen. Because the problem with Lucas is he's treating everything like there is a horizon, and that's not how this stuff works. When you can go any vector,
Yeah. He saw an interview with John Ford. I must have a horizon.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I guess I listen to the things you like, and I think, yeah, that guy really liked Babylon 5. You really would. It doesn't mean you have to stop liking other things,
True.
but it's
You have to be more of a whore and like more things. So you're over here one day, and the next day you're over here, and you're just a total whore.
You know why I don't want to watch Babylon 5?
Why?
Do you want to know why? Because moronic fucktards want to sit there and lie through their fucking teeth and say that Deep Space Nine ripped off the Babylon 5.
You have an ally in me on that.
No.
I was there, man. I was in the Vietnam of that. My face was down in the muck with my brothers. I got the wiki page about DS9 versus Babylon 5 locked accidentally because you would love this. I went into the timeline. Now, this doesn't mean that Joe Straczynski did not have this stuff invented. I mean, that's all stuff that you can find registered with Writers Guild.
Mm-hmm.
However, when it comes to the production timeline, here's the Defiant. A year later, here comes the White Star. Here's this character. A year later, here comes this character.
Mm-hmm.
It's and I think the nice thing about being a DS9 fan is that we have less ego and more of the luxury to, now that it's all over, that's all 30 years ago, 40 years ago, really, we're able to kind of sit back and say, you know what? They're both pretty good. Steve Shives, who I'm crazy about, Steve Shives has a really good essay on Babylon 5. And, he's the biggest Star Trek fan there is. But Jewel, I feel your pain. I know exactly what you're talking about. And, I got attacked by Joe Straczynski. So, I have his teeth marks in my tuchus, and it was a musical number also. And it was called Very Nasty Things by the Man because I stood up for Star Trek. And I still, at a certain point, was able to get over that and go, you know what? It's still a pretty good story. And it's not a versus. The Babylon 5 fans wanted to make it a versus. Mm-hmm. And the wise DS9 fan simply sees it as an and.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a awesome story. When you put it, it's not better than DS9. It's different than DS9. The Seawolf by Jack London takes place no surprise, at sea. So does 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. But you can like both of them.
Yep. Yeah.
This has been a fun review, guys. Let's see. It's today. How's Friday for Revenge of the Sith?
I think that sounds fine.
Sounds good.
Okay. Link to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Deep Book and Bounce going to be in the description box. Link to Alan Gallant's YouTube channel. Colin's Port After Dark will be in the description box. You guys have a safe night.
Thank you, Joel. Take
You're
care.
welcome. Take care.